All right then, when we want to persuade or communicate with someone, how do we communicate with MuMu? We need to talk about facts, we need to talk about logic, we need to discuss risk assessment, and we need to present data. After we've got all these things in hand, only then will MuMu feel more at ease and secure. There's no coercion, and there's no need to create any dramatic scenes. What MuMu needs is a rational analysis. Alright, so whenever he is under a lot of pressure, MuMu will keep thinking things over and over in his head. Sometimes you really have to understand that he simply likes to hide himself away from the world. He truly enjoys being alone and having plenty of quiet time for deep personal reflection. So if you happen to notice he's sitting there very quietly, perhaps while holding a warm cup of coffee, it is definitely best not to disturb his. Actually, he is just lost in his own thoughts. When he's deep in thought, he's actually releasing his own stress. Once he figures things out, he'll quickly come out from under that pressure. When MuMu is in a leadership role, you'll find that it's really great. He arranges everything very well and pays attention to detail, whether it's in terms of quality or in the system itself. After careful adjustment, we have a lot of, for those of us who follow MuMu and work together with his, you can really feel at ease, right? Because he thinks through every detail of any problem very clearly. Sometimes some friends might feel, is he being too cautious? But that's not a problem. We have other 𝐈𝐯𝐷𝐼 type friends who can help us out, right? Whether in a company, a family, or among friends, we really need someone like that. It's great to have friends around you who are thoughtful, full of ideas, and very organized, and that's exactly who he is. All right then, let's talk about this. In terms of relationships, if you encounter moments when you and your partner have arguments or when you both have disagreements, what kind of problems might arise? On the surface, he might appear very calm and won't argue with you much, but actually, at night he won't be able to sleep. He'll have insomnia and feel very anxious. So, which part is the issue? Where did things go wrong? Where is the problem? He will keep putting the blame on himself. So a lot of the time we tell his, don't put so much pressure on yourself, take more time to rest and recharge. That might help a bit. Maybe have a drink or listen to some music to help yourself relax. As for solutions, we need to be logical and gently explain things to his. Remember, you can't just drag things out with his for a long time without resolving them or use what we call cold violence, that is, ignoring his. That really doesn't work because he genuinely wants to know where the problem actually happened. So we need to resolve things between us as quickly as possible. If there's anything unclear, lay it all out logically and communicate it clearly to his. Don't worry, MuMu is a very reasonable person, so he'll quickly process things through his own deep thinking, and once he understands, he'll completely relax and feel secure. Now, when working with MuMu over the long term, what he needs from us is a sense of stability, support that he can anticipate and count on. There's no need to give his lots of surprises because what MuMu wants most is for everything to happen according to his planning and arrangements. That's when he feels most comfortable, right? Alright, so when he feels uneasy, what should we do? We have to remember that with MuMu, you need to directly tell his what the problem is and where it lies. Then give his a bit of time to think it over himself, but make sure to quickly let his know how you feel and express your thoughts clearly. Tell MuMu your own perspective. After he's had time to think, he's actually a very reasonable and understanding person. Now, with this approach, many problems will be easily resolved. So, when it comes to being deeply in love, we can say that someone is simply a warm-hearted guy, or that I am a really great partner. Yes, whether it's a man or a woman, both are very considerate. Remember, when you express yourself to your partner, it's important to use your genuine feelings and real emotions because what they really need is something like that. Some deep, soulful communication. Yes, just speak to them directly, and that's perfectly fine. Right? We've noticed that energy, well, it needs a few things to guide it. First is vision, the feelings we get from what we see. Then there are frequencies around us that we can't see, but they exist. There's also sound. And most importantly, it's the mindset. That is, it's a way of thinking. So with this in mind, 𝐈𝐷𝐷𝐼 understands, and we also, well, through our 𝐈𝐷𝐷𝐼's personal energy companion, we want to show everyone how, through language, thoughts, and emotions, you can become aware of your own behavioral patterns. So everyone, have you all had a chance to complete our I matrix yet? By doing this, we can in a much more efficient and engaging way understand our own unique personality energy profiles and finally know which specific 𝐈𝐷𝐷𝐼 model we truly belong to. The next step in our process is that we'll try to use the detailed reports found in our I matrix for a more comprehensive and thorough exploration. And then we will proceed to do some even more detailed and in-depth analysis together, to gain an even deeper understanding of our innermost selves. So then, after we understand ourselves, what's the next step? We can start to understand our friends around us, our colleagues, whether they're our bosses, subordinates, or partners we work with, or even our family members, like our parents, siblings, or even communicating with our own children. And through our I matrix reports, we can understand others even better. There's a saying, understanding is everything. All problems arise because we don't know or understand each other well, which leads to misunderstandings. All right then, let's take a look and read this together. Let's give FiFi a creator's affirmation. Let's give his a shower of work so that every day he is filled with energy. I am weaving my future with creativity, aspiration, and practical wisdom. I communicate with clarity and warmth, connecting deeply with others. Joy fills my heart, and I share it freely with the world. So after saying this, before heading out every day, read this power of words, and you'll find that FiFi is filled with energy. Pretty good, right? Now let's take a look at MuMu's power of words and see what he needs. How about we read it together? Cultivating a life of stability, honesty, and optimistic future. I am dedicated to my goals, persisting with patience and effort. I am practical, steering decisions towards success and security. That's very good. So what happens next? MuMu is filled with confidence again and feels that everything happens according to their plan. That's just great, really.